Hello everybody, my name is Christian, and with another update around the corner, it's time to talk about who you should pull in version 4.2 of Honkai Star Rail. After a pretty quiet version 4.1, except of course for the story, which was phenomenal, we have a lot of hard hitters coming out for version 4.2. Plenty of interesting reruns, but the stars of the show are the two Elation main DPS characters, Silverwolf level 999 and Evanessia. These two are the DPS players I've been waiting for with the Elation path, and will be some of the best DPS characters in the game by far with their ideal teams. We also have EMC coming out this update, and plenty more in celebration for the 3rd anniversary of HSR. Like a goddamn Silverwolf wrapped car, what? I hope you guys are ready, because this is gonna be a doozy. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, become a YouTube member down below, and with that said, let's get into it. Let's pause and take a brief word from our sponsor, Gamesco. As Star Rail constantly releases characters better than the last, players won't have enough Jades to keep up. This is where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Gamesco. This is an all-in-one marketplace for all your favorite games and services. They offer top-ups at a more affordable price than in-game, and can even activate your first top-up bonus if you haven't used it already. It's also totally safe, not requiring any of your login information, and having a money-back guarantee. All you have to do is click the bundle you want, put in your server and UID, and your top-up will appear in-game shortly after. On top of all of this, they offer top-ups for more than HSR, having offers for ZZZ, Genshin, Wuthering Waves, and so much more. You can use my link in the description or pinned comment to start saving now. Thank you to Gamesco for sponsoring, and now, let's get back to the video. In terms of housekeeping before we get in depth with these characters, there actually isn't much this time around despite it being the big update. Top-up bonuses are back for those interested, and the spending event offers some pretty cool stuff like it always does for those interested. For this update, we'll also be receiving another Golden Companion Spirit for free to use in the shop, with Robin and Huohuo being added in for this update. Their light cones have also been added to the light cone shop if you're a Battle Pass buyer. Last thing of note, EMC is coming out this update, and is seemingly a key part of Evanessia's team. For those interested in running her, building him up before she comes out should be a top priority, so you're not swarmed trying to make her team all at once. Now, we can move on to the first new 5-star of the update, the Master Hacker with a whole new style, Silverwolf level 999. Silverwolf 999 is an imaginary Elation 5-star, and is the anniversary character for version 4.x of HSR. Following behind Acheron and Castris is pretty big shoes to fill in terms of uniqueness and strength, but Silverwolf seems more than ready for the challenge. She has an absolutely insane kit, with some of the most unique animations in the entire game. That's not speaking on her actual power level either, which looks unbelievably high upon initial observation. Silverwolf's closest comparison to a normal path is to that of an erudition character, having a lot of AoE built into her kit. To be fair, that seems like the staple of every anniversary character nowadays. Now, let's get into the kit. The most important thing to go over with Silverwolf is her ultimate and talent. In typical anniversary character fashion, Silverwolf has a non-energy ultimate. Wolfie will accumulate MMR like a ranked player, and when she reaches 80, she will be able to use her ultimate, God Mode On. This enhances Silverwolf an enormous amount, and will grant her an enhanced basic attack as well. She will cycle through attacks that range from a true damage sword, a skill point restoring bomb, and even Pac-Man? What is he doing here? Unless... Silverwolf in Smash?! Anyway, next thing of note about Silverwolf is a feature of her zone. When skill points are used, she has a chance to activate a blind box, which causes some form of damage to the enemies on the field. It once again ranges on what it is exactly, but either way, more skill points means more chance to trigger this additional attack. Next up, Elation skill. She has two different ones, one in God mode and one in her normal mode. When in God mode, Wolfie will put on a Honkai level damage demo. She will do massive bounce damage that can absolutely decimate groups of enemies or one single target. As for her base formulation skill, this will regenerate MMR for her, meaning she can get back into God mode even faster. Silverwolf has a basic attack and skill as well, but genuinely those are both pretty meaningless. Think of them as Firefly's base form attacks. They're there to assist you in getting to your strongest form, and besides that, not much else. The final thing of note for today is that Silverwolf has a global passive. I know people freak out when they hear that, but truth be told, I think this one is less helpful casually than Castris's. This will remove one instance of CC once per wave seemingly. Extremely helpful, yes, and it can be a game changer against certain bosses if you aren't running a sustain. Otherwise, this is kind of mediocre for everything else, as your sustain will just remove the status anyway. It's definitely annoying to see another global passive, but this is nowhere near the same level as last time in my opinion. All in all, Silverwolf level 999 is a powerful character to say the least. She works extremely well in AoE or single target scenarios thanks to her massive damage and ability to support when skill points are used. While I'm not a massive fan of her, this is definitely a proper anniversary character to say the least. You should pull for Wolfie if you have Sparksy and Yao Guang already and are ready to get the flagship of Elation going forward. No way around it, Silverwolf will enter the game and be better than 99% of teams at any investment level if she has her proper team. She is massively powerful, but also heavily held back by essentially the requirement of Yao Guang and Sparksy if you really want to make her succeed, as anyone else is going to be a huge night and day difference. Now we move on to the first half reruns, and oh boy, a little bit of favoritism on display today, right Firefly? Jokes aside, we have 3 characters rerunning right now in the Dahlia, Castris, and Firefly. Firefly and Dahlia are the core of Super Break right now, so them rerunning together makes perfect sense. Castris, as a former anniversary character, also is completely expected to be back around this point. Let's start off our rerun talk with none other than the Dahlia. Dahlia is a Fire Nihility 5-star released in version 3.8. She serves as the true backbone of Super Break right now, granting massive multipliers, debuffs, and even the ability to deal damage through toughness bars. If you've been around for a bit, you know how I feel about that specific mechanic, but either way, she is essential for Break right now, granting power unlike anyone else in the game for this archetype. For a more in-depth explanation of what she does, her zone activates whenever you use her skill. This zone is what allows enemies to take Super Break damage regardless of their toughness bar, and it grants a 50% weakness break efficiency buff to your entire team. Absolutely amazing to have on a skill, and this can even do a little damage to all enemies on the field. Next, we have her talent. This designates one enemy as the Dance Partner. Dance Partner essentially does even more damage when attacking weakness broken enemies, and is capable of triggering Dahlia's follow-up attack, which can actually do a fair chunk of damage. Lastly, her ultimate, Wallow Entombed Ash. This will inflict enemies with Wilt, reducing their defense by 18%, and will implant the weakness of your dance partner. Thanks to a major trace she has, Dahlia will also gain a 30% speed boost for 2 turns when using this. Dahlia right now is the engine to make Break go, offering massive damage buffs and even some decent damage all on her own. To not have her for your Break team is essentially resigning them to the Tomb of Castellana. Bit of an Amphorius joke for you all. You should pull Dahlia if you want to get into Break or have a Break character already. There are a few characters who can make use of Dahlia, so getting her before your DPS is essential in my opinion. She is what makes the whole archetype work and should be prioritized as such. Next up on the chopping block is the second in a line of purple anniversary characters, Castris. Castris is a Quantum Remembrance 5-star and is the pioneer of the Remembrance flagship team. While her value is nowhere near as high as it used to be since Evernight has come out, Castris still holds pretty strong as a great character overall and a worthwhile addition to the Mono Rem team. Castris' kit is based around her powerful ultimate. To accumulate this ultimate, HP needs to be lost or gained, and once a certain amount is reached, Castris will be able to activate her ultimate. This summons out Netherwing, who is capable of a strong swipe attack, or capable of performing breath attacks that will culminate in it self-destructing, doing massive damage to enemies. That's essentially all there is to Castris, as her power level is heavily linked to her teammates and her team overall also doing massive damage. Without mono-rem teammates, and especially Hyacinth, Castris is a pretty mediocre character nowadays, but that's to be expected of most DPS without their ideal team. Having her with a Hyacinth and an Evernight is a great potential booster, and RMC can fill in for Cyrene even though she is a massive step up for the team as well. While Mono Rem is no longer going to be the shield team comp, it still performs incredibly. The power level here is great enough to force through most content even if it doesn't suit them, and is still worth investing into today. The only note I'll make is if you don't already have Castris, I don't think she's as worth it to get unless you already have the rest of the Mono Rem team and feel good about adding her into that. Evernight is as strong of a carry as Castris pretty easily, and she becomes far better with that same investment. I'll touch on this again later in the investment section, but just keep that in mind as the reasoning to pull Castris or not. Lastly, for half one is Firefly, the favorite girl that Hoyo just keeps throwing at us. Firefly is a Fire Destruction 5-star, released in version 2.3. She serves as the break character right now, not only being buffed, but also receiving the most benefit from Dahlia's kit, and it's not even close. Dahlia and Firefly were already so good the buff wasn't needed, but hey, here we are, time to run with it. Firefly is a transformation character, needing her ult to do massive damage. When activating it, she will enter the complete combustion form, allowing her to implant fire weakness and break whatever is in front of her with her skill. Once in complete combustion, you have a set timer to fight against. When this timer runs out, Firefly will fall out of ult and will need to activate it again once she gets enough energy. Dahlia mitigates this heavily, but it would have been nice if Hoyoverse actually just buffed her to not fall out of the damn form. My personal gripes aside, Firefly is an extremely powerful character right now, and Break overall is in its best form ever, with Boothill and Firefly constantly tearing apart all endgame content. Dahlia is going to be a must-have here, but with her on the account, Firefly is a great character who is going to last you for quite some time. You should pull Firefly if you already have the Dahlia and want a great break DPS. With a free Ron May through the companion shop and a free HMC just sitting on your account, Firefly will have a great team ready to go at a moment's notice. No Fury run is a bit sad to see, but hey, this is a team that can still work wonders. Alright, as per usual, there are 4-star light cones and characters available. The only one I'm going to make note of is the return of Gallagher. Great healer with great utility, a worthwhile pull for any account if you can get him to E4. Otherwise, nothing else here is worth going for with all the free characters we've gotten lately. It makes me sad we will never see 4 stars again at this rate, but oh well, I suppose. Now we move on to what I am the most excited about, the Physical Elation 5-star, Evanessia. The spectator of the Phantasmoon games, and a girl with a mysterious past that we've just begun to get a glimpse of, she is one of my most hyped characters ever. Evanessia is seemingly another character with a bit more of an AoE focus, with many of her attacks being able to hit all enemies in some way, shape, or form. Her main damage dealing ability, though, comes from her ultimate, Sword Song Absolution Denied. This ultimate is a massive attack that can hit all enemies and has bounce hits that can decimate a single target. We'll touch on her ultimate a bit more later, but now let's move on to her skill, Discipline Final Verdict. This attack is an AoE move, hitting all enemies and generating both Punchline and Certified Banger for Evanessia. Then, we arrive at her primary mechanic. Her ult cost is seemingly massive, and allows for energy storage similar to Argenti or Yoon Late. The way this is balanced is, Evanessia will gain Certified Banger every time she regens energy, and vice versa. So every time Evanessia receives Certified Banger, she's also going to regenerate energy. This will culminate in her summon, Master Fox, popping out and doing damage to all enemies when her energy hits a certain threshold. And this will also regenerate a great deal of energy for Evanessia. For her game plan, she constantly relies on gaining punchlines and certified bangers, so that she can consistently unleash her powerful ultimate. This means that pairing her with fellow Elation units is a wiser choice than not, and Yao Guang especially will be a massive benefit here. Next on the chopping block is her Elation skill. A pretty simple attack that just does damage to all enemies, but it will also grant her some certified banger. And that takes us to the final note about Evanessia, is that Evanessia will take certified bangers from allies as they lose them. So if you have a teammate who just had, say, 20 certified bangers expire, Evanessia will automatically gain a share of that to her own stack, granting her even more energy just by having her allies exist. Evanessia, similar to every other Elation ally, really relies on having her fellow Elation teammates to back her up. Her energy gain with them around is absolutely massive, and her damage output is seemingly going to be pretty solid from the look of things. While she won't be quite the same power level as Silverwolf, she still has her own unique style, and she can succeed in many of the same scenarios as Wolfie, while also benefiting more from other non-Elation teammates. The design here isn't perfect, but it's pretty solid, I would say, and definitely fitting of a second half anniversary character. You should pull Evanessia if you don't like Silverwolf as much, or if you want another Elation main DPS. Quite simply, at this point, Ava, Wolfie, and Sparksy all need Yao Guang to really succeed. Otherwise, you're gonna struggle a fair bit. Pick whoever your favorite is, and just run with it. They'll all be more than capable of performing well, and it'll take pressure off of players worrying that they made the wrong choice. Now, the second half reruns, and what the hell are you doing here? You missed your cue, girly. 4.1 already happened. The reruns here are Tribby, Sunday, and Fei Xiao. A strange mix of characters that I really don't understand much, if we're being honest. Tribby is always good, Sunday works well with Ashvale and a few others, but Fei Xiao is just pretty mediocre now, and it would have made far more sense to rerun her with Ashvale. These reruns just make my head hurt, but oh well, I suppose. Let's start off with the nuclear coughing baby, Tribby. Tribby is a Quantum Harmony 5-star, released in version 3.1, and she has served as the best generalist in the game for quite some time. Useful in just about any team you can imagine, Tribby has one of the most unique and powerful kits to be made in Honkai Star Rail. She is capable of putting up a zone with her ultimate that can increase damage taken by 30%. She can apply a 24% res pen boost on her skill for all allies too. Last but not least, she can do decent damage on her own, having the ability to follow up once per ult from each of her teammates. This follow-up also gets stronger with each usage, making the third follow-up do some pretty decent damage. Tribby also has amazing Eidolons, and more importantly, with her low-cost ultimate and built-in energy regen, she is an amazing user of the Light Cone Dance Dance Dance. This will allow your team to have more actions consistently over the course of a battle, and is pretty helpful for slow characters especially. Despite her not being the best for many characters anymore, Tribby is still amazing in a lot of scenarios, and is a worthwhile pickup in most cases. You should pull Tribby if you have any team that benefits from a generalized support. HSR has changed a lot, with many teams vastly preferring more specific supports now. With that in mind, there are still teams like Aglaya without Cyrene, Saber, Ashvale, and the Herda, where Tribby can excel a lot. If you have a character like this, pulling Tribby is a fantastic choice, especially if you get her powerful E1. The next character on the list is the introspective bird boy himself, Sunday. Sunday is an imaginary Harmony 5-star, released in version 2.7. Sunday serves as a great action advancer who can work for most DPS. His role has been reduced a lot thanks to the buff Sparkle, and of course more specific supports coming out, but his kit is still solid for sure. He has a 100% action advance on his skill that boosts damage by 30%. If the character advanced has a summon, this jumps all the way up to 80%. His ult can select a target and grant them a crit damage share for 3 turns, as well as restoring 20% of their energy. The other nice part is that when Sunday uses a skill on a target who has this ult condition, Sunday will actually regenerate the skill point, making him SP neutral. And the last thing to note is that Sunday has a built-in crit band-aid, offering 20% crit rate to his advanced target. A great jack-of-all-trades kit, and pretty essential if you want to use an energy character. You should pull Sunday if you have Ashvale, Saber, or another character who benefits from his advances specifically over a generalized damage boost. Yeah, there are so many good specific character supports nowadays that Sunday struggles a bit to differentiate himself despite his clear strength. Hopefully, we have another character soon who can take advantage of his unique talents. Our last character of the day is Fei Xiao, and I am going to be honest, there is no reason to pull Fei Xiao currently. Ashvale is still available at the time of this video releasing, and he is far better than her. If you run them together, Fei Xiao only weighs him down from what he can do on his own, unless your Fei Xiao is already E2. Even then, it can still be a bit arguable depending on what you have on your account, or how strong your Ashvale is. For reference, she's a follow-up main DPS who specializes in ultimate damage. She does benefit a lot from Ashvale specifically, so if you already have him and you really want to make Fei Xiao better, then absolutely go for it. However, in the case of anyone else, this is sadly a very easy skip, as much as I love Fei Xiao. And finally, we've made it to the investment section, folks. The part of the video where I tell you to pull Eidolon so you don't brick your account. Quite a few characters to cover today, so let's get into it. First up is Dahlia. Dahlia has a pretty nice E1 and S1, with S1 providing a skill point back and a massive amount of additional break damage. However, E1 can reduce toughness and apply Dance Partner to all of your allies. In terms of sheer damage output, E1 is the way to go here. Next up is Casterus. Casterus Light Cone is a great way to go over her E1. Otherwise, jumping straight to E2 is absolutely massive for Casterus, and is an insane boost over her Light Cone. Although, in reality, the best boost would have been Hyacinth E1 and Evernight E1 in the patches beforehand. Monorem Eidolons are broken, man. For Firefly, her E1 and E2 are both pretty nice, with her Light Cone being good, but not great. I would honestly say going for E1 no matter what would be a wise choice, but with Firefly, investment of any sort should be pretty helpful for you. Although, Dahlia investment is definitely better, so keep that in mind. For Tribby, her Light Cone pales in comparison to her powerful E1. This gives a true damage boost to her ultimate zone, making all of your damage far more impactful. This is a must-have Eidolon if you feature Tribby heavily in any of your teams. For Sunday, his E1 is very good for summon-based teams, but his Light Cone is just amazing overall. It's good for skill point generation, and it also gives him energy and a nice damage boost to your advanced target. I say go for the Sunday Cone, especially since it can prove to be helpful for quite a few other Harmony characters. Lastly, we have Fei Xiao. Light Cone is a massive, massive, massive boost for her, and unless you're going straight to E2, this cone should not be skipped for her by any means. Yes, it is in fact that good for her specifically. And that wraps up our talk for today. I had a lot of fun making this video like always, and I'm super excited for version 4.2 and the story it holds. Tell me in the comments who you guys are excited to get, or if you need any help deciding. I got plenty more good videos coming out soon, so I'll see you guys then. Bye bye!